Nicholas is anxious about his first day on the job in Kenya. The 18-year-old will be working for an environmental organization over the next year. He arrived in the morning after taking a night bus from Nairobi. He didn't get much sleep.
You are relaxed and fresh now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I took a shower in the morning.
Okay, good. So maybe you can just leave your bag in the office and then I'll show you around. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
Hier einfach mal eine andere Kultur, das Leben kennenzulernen.
I'm really excited to learn what life is like in a different culture and to see everything from a different perspective.
It's Nicholas's first time in Africa. His co-worker Caroline shows him around. The organization Ecofinder has its office directly on the shores of Lake Victoria. Here, the main diet is fish.
Yeah, we will make sure you eat that before you leave. Yeah. Okay, so
30 volunteers currently work for Ecofinder, most of them local Kenyans. But the team almost always includes foreigners, mainly from Europe.
So now the volunteers that have come in with very high expectations because they are fresh from school. They are very, very idealistic. But when they arrive now, circumstances forces them to at least incorporate some reality.
Nicholas finds that reality is often a hard lesson on the first day. Because the climate is heating up, the region now gets more rain than it used to. And that causes flooding.
Welcome.
Ich war auch sehr überrascht, dass es jetzt hier direkt durch.
I was really very surprised that it came through the mud here and through these wetland areas. Sometimes I was really afraid I was going to fall over or get water in my boots, but luckily I stayed dry crossing over.
Stiefel fließt, aber ich bin zum Glück trocken rübergekommen.
Ecofinder volunteers have installed a compost toilet on William Otieno's farm. The family paid for the building materials. The rest was financed by donations to the organization.
We used to have a pit latrine for a toilet, but it was always flooding over. And when we had visitors, I was always ashamed because feces were floating around here.
The new toilet can withstand the flooding. Caroline explains to Nicholas that the feces can be mixed with ashes and later used as fertilizer. But old beliefs make villagers skeptical about the process.
when somebody defecates in your farm, yeah, that was bad. So if you want to prevent that person from coming back again, you'd take hot ash and pour onto the fecal matter, and then that person will start getting sick, diarrhea or something. Then you prevent him from coming back to your farm. So that was the belief that if you introduce this kind of technology, people would be like adding ash into into my feces.
In spite of old superstitions, Ecofinder installed 35 compost toilets last year. The next stop for Nicholas and Caroline is at what's called a biogas digester, another of Ecofinder's projects.
And if he starts using the toilet all the time.
Villagers say that they used to spend a lot of money on firewood for cooking and kerosene for lighting. Now, all they need is cow dung.
Then in the evening I got light. In night time I can cook, I can eat without paying anything.
In an underground tank, the cow dung produces methane gas that's fed into nearby homes. It's a pilot project that will hopefully set a precedent.
This is safe energy and clean as well because it doesn't actually emit the greenhouse gases that you're trying to stop. So I think it's a good idea to start, and then when resources allow, we'll replicate to other areas as well.
At the end of the day, Nicholas has a lot to think about.
Ich bin wirklich super beeindruckt, wie viele Projekte.
I'm really super impressed at how many projects I could see on my first day. The biogas plant, the compost toilets, and that you really see that it's helping the people. And I hope I'll work well with the others and help move things forward.
The next morning, Nicholas is expected to not just watch, but pitch in as well. Ecofinder wants to stem the rapidly growing consumption of firewood and subsequently reduce CO2 emissions in the region. The organization is promoting the use of energy-saving stoves.
Okay. This is the new energy-saving stove. And okay, fine. There's this big stone in it which saves the heat and which also reduces the amount of wood you need.
Nicholas is happy with his first day on the job, but he also feels a little strange about it.
If you come here as a white foreigner to show the people something new, then that could give the impression that you think you're better than them. But that's not the way it's supposed to be. Instead, you're supposed to be equal with each other, so that you can learn from each other.
His co-worker says foreign volunteers in particular are enormously helpful for Ecofinder.
For these communities, if they see somebody foreign, they tend to be more, attentive to ideas as opposed to just locals. So when we have Nicholas going around with Nicholas and introducing these things, I think it will be more interesting, and many people will now adopt these things that we're promoting.
A year in Africa also means a year away from home.
Theoretically, I could at some point get very homesick. And that's maybe the thing that would give me the biggest problem, that at some point I could feel really down.
But Nicholas says that right now, at the end of his second day, he feels just fine. So far, he hasn't had time to feel homesick.